Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining at this time. My name is Shavi Zain, and I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. If you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know how it resonates with your circumstance. So, first of all, I want to tell you all about a dream that I had last night. So, in this dream, I was standing on top of a bridge that was overlooking a highway. It was myself, my children, and a lot of other people who were on this bridge. And as we looked down beneath us, the highway was full of police cars, like lines. It seemed like it went on for a mile or more. Like it was a ton of police cars. And we stood there to see what was going on. There was a melanated woman who came, like she was running really, really fast. And there was a lot of police that was chasing her by foot. And she jumped into this car, but before she got into the car, she leaned out and she threw a bomb. And the bomb was very explosive, so it hit the bridge, and there was all of this fire around. So we ran. We was safe. We got off the bridge. We ran, and we ended up further down the street where this parking lot. And in this parking lot, I was expecting to find my car. So myself and a lot of other people was looking for our cars, but apparently they had moved our cars. I don't know why, but they had moved our cars, so we couldn't find our vehicles. And so somehow I ended up with keys in my hand to someone's van. And this person had a van that was gutted out and turned into a home. So I went into the van with my children, and I just remember being in there, and it seemed like it was humongous. Like it didn't even seem like I was inside of a van. So I started rearranging the furniture, straightening things out, and started cooking for my children. And I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I know this person is going to be really pissed off when they find out that we're staying here, but this is what we have to do for now. And I woke up. So I got a few different things from this message. I definitely sense that many of you likely can sense that there's getting ready to be a lot of disruption that we're going to eyewitness, whether we're seeing it on the news or we're hearing about it in our communities or we're watching it literally in our face. Situations where it's like, wow, it's playing out like it's an action thriller type of energy. There's getting ready to be a lot of destructive energy around us that's not going to directly harm us. It's not going to harm us, but it will cause for us to learn how to readjust. Okay. I strongly sense that there's a reset that is taking place that goes beyond our spiritual shifts, right? We've already shifted, a lot of us, from the 3D mentality and existence on a spiritual level to the 5D. But as above, so below. So there has to be a shift that unfolds here in a 3D plane. And with any major shift, chaos happens. Chaos happens because there's always resistance. Okay, there are beings in a position of so-called power, right? The powers that were, and a lot of people who have gotten so used to their system that are going to resist this shift. Okay, and so it brings about chaos when change is happening that many people are not ready for, because they're not ready for a new way of being. They're not ready for a turnover when it comes to authority. Okay, the power is being shifted from them to those who are in the place of righteousness, those who are meant to have that authority and power in the world. And so it is going to bring about some very unsettling energy, but it's all in how you view the reset. Now, I strongly sense that the woman who was being chased by the police, now this was a melanated woman, and she had this bomb. So there is this resistance, but there's also a targeted group of people that the powers that would likely go after. Those of us who are rebellious to their system, those of us who see the truth about who they are, those of us who no longer want to play their game. We're no longer willing to play their game. There is a targeted group of people, right? But just because you target at something doesn't mean that you're going to hit the mark. You see what I'm saying? Just because you target something does not mean you're going to hit the mark. So this is where we have to understand that the Most High is going to make them miss every time, right? Because the reset must take place and we must take our positions on the throne. That's it and that's all. We must reclaim our inheritance, our birthright, and our sovereignty. Okay? And true judgment must be established. And so you are safe. We are safe. There's no doubt about that. But during this reset, there's going to have to be a shift in how you view a comfortable lifestyle. And I say that because I ended up living in a van with my children. It was a temporary situation because it wasn't even mine. But while I was in there, it felt humongous. It felt cozy. It felt like home. So I didn't even I knew I had gotten inside of a van, but being inside of that van, it felt humongous. So it's almost like you may have to downsize your life in a way where what you thought was necessary in order to create comfort really isn't. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to start looking around and recognizing that you probably have a lot more space than what you need. You probably have a lot more things than what you really need. And maybe even the desires for particular things, they're not even what you need. They're just what you want. So you're going to have to shift your desires in a lot of ways. And this is only temporary. Okay? It would be different if I had gotten into that van and I knew it was mine. Then it's almost like, okay, there's a sense of permanence about it or long-term impact. No, I was inside of somebody else's van. So I knew that the moment that they came home, we was going to be up out of there. Right? So very temporary shifts that are going to take place during this reset. And it's going to require for you to learn how to find comfort in downsizing temporarily. Also, when it comes down to your view on currency, we know currency is energy. So when I'm talking about currency, I'm talking about money. Now that I have created the ancestor money, I find that looking at it, it feels so realistic to me. It's like I could see myself exchanging that type of money for goods and services. We have to change our mindset when it comes to the way that we perceive wealth and currency. Because many of you may be aware, most of you are likely aware that the fiat that we currently use with these dead presidents, these European presidents who were kidnappers, right? Criminals. They like to call themselves slave masters, but a slave master is simply a kidnapper. Right? Because they kidnap people, force them to do labor, rape them. So they're rapists, all types of things. So you have these images on money, right? On top of that, they put a lot of other symbols on the money because there's a lot of rituals and spell work that was done in order to create a particular frequency or vibration to cause people to be very, very attracted to that particular fiat. Okay, it has even the print on it as if it's a fingerprint, right? To show the stamp is the energetic signature of that frequency. So all of that is on their money. And so a lot of people find themselves very hypnotized by it, right? Very attached to that particular piece of paper because that's what it is. A piece of paper that can be used to exchange for goods and services. So let's just consider, we're going to have to get accustomed to the idea of a different type of exchange, whether we are using paper to exchange for goods and services, whether we go back to the bartering system or whether we use some other form of currency, energy, to buy goods and services amongst one another. There's getting ready to be a reset that we have to prepare for. If your desire is to truly see the corrupt beings get taken down, then you have to also be ready to see the U.S. corporation lose their position of authority. Because this particular corporation, this business, has been built on nothing but falsehood, lies, and criminality. So in preparation for this shift that has to take place, because we've been asking for, well, we've been anticipating it, we've been praying for it, and it has to happen, right? This is, empires rise, empires fall. It has to happen. Everything has a starting point and it has a finishing point. So this is that place, this is that time where that finishing point is happening for the powers that were. And we have to be realistic about what that looks like. It doesn't look like us remixing what they already have. Now, mind you, everything that was built here in America was built by the melanated man and woman. The majority of the main structures was built by the melanated man and woman. So these are things that are rightfully ours. However, when it comes down to the fiat, you know that once that turnover of power takes place, we are not going to continue to use their currency because that frequency is too low. So we have to get used to the idea of a shift that takes place that will require for you to have less, to downsize for a period of time until we create a new energy, a new frequency, a new currency. So I'm just letting you all know this just to think about it. Think about it. Give yourself time to sit with it because we're getting prepared for that time. It's happening right now, real time in front of our eyes where the exposure is happening. The hands are being shown. The true criminals are being exposed and they must be judged. They're not just being exposed for us to say, oh, wow, so I know that about that person, but they still maintain their position of power and authority over the people. No, they're being exposed because they're getting ready to be taken up out of here. So we have to be prepared mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, in all areas of our lives for the total reset that will require a very different type of lifestyle for a temporary basis. This is what my dream has shown me. And so let me know what you all think in the comments. What do you think about this total reset and what type of shift, what type of adjustments do you think will be required from us in order to get in alignment with the building of a new empire? What type of things do you feel like you're going to have to put to rest and let go of? And how would you substitute that? What are ways that we could do that? I would love to hear your conversations in the text below. Description below. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll talk to y'all next time.